Hello, everyone, and welcome again to this broadcast of the School of Small Business. I am Salome Chung, and I'm the CEO of Prism for Enterprises. If you are a regular and subscriber already to the channel, welcome back in. Please don't forget to continue liking our videos so that the myriad of small businesses out there can benefit from the content that we share here. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and, of course, like our videos. Should you need to connect with me further, please you will see how to connect with me in the comments of the video, whether it's on social media, LinkedIn, my email, etc., etc. Today, we are going to be speaking about branding, and branding in the sense that it is how important it is to get your branding correct. Because when done correctly, branding can have extremely powerful and positive outcomes on the growth and success of your business. And my guest today is going to help me share innovative and other out-of-the-box approaches to branding. My guest is Lily Petrescu, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Lily.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that you're joining me here. Lily Petrescu is an author, publisher, and marketer. I'm so excited to have her here. And Lily uses her skills and strategies to transform the world of entrepreneurs who want to make a greater impact worldwide. Lily, welcome to the broadcast. Please share anything else you want our audience to know about you. And please help me explain your process and strategies to helping entrepreneurs make their branding global and have a worldwide impact.
Thank you so much, Salome. And I am so delighted to be a part of this amazing platform, this amazing podcast. And it's so amazing to share my knowledge and my expertise with all of you listeners. And thank you so much, Salome, for creating this platform. So about myself, I am a book publisher and I create books to transform the world. And I create in particular books that can elevate your personal brand so that you can start speaking worldwide. So you can start attracting more opportunities, whether it's business collaborations, whether it's you being seen as the thought leader and authority in your niche. And so that more of the kind of opportunities you really desire, the kind of celebrities and influencers and partners, joint venture partners that you really desire come to you. And this is the key aspect of publishing a book that I do, that enables you to be seen as that authority, and also it enables you to brand yourself in a congruent way, in a consistent way, in a way that when people look at your social media, they can instantly tell what you do, what you're about, how you can help people, and they can associate a particular set of colors, a palette of colors with yourself, with your business, with everything that you're doing, so that people are not confused anymore. People are attracted, people are charmed, people are feeling that charisma, that energy, that the fact that you are aligned with everything that you're doing, so that everything that you're doing, it feels like it's in flow. And it also has the impact of allowing your tribe to come to you, right? So that the people that have the same sort of messaging that you're about, first, basically your messaging is very clear to your desired audience. And because it's very clear, that's why it kind of like attracts exactly the kind of people that you really truly desire to attract. And through doing this work over the last few years, I've managed to reach 1 million people in social media and to have 140,000 followers across social media, and to attract celebrities and influencers and thought leaders to start working with me. And also I've worked with hand-selected entrepreneurs that either were at the beginning of their journey and had no idea what to write, they had no idea about their brand, they had no idea, had never had a business before. And also I've worked with people who already had a business, had a very successful business, were property multimillionaires, and maybe they had a passive, property business, and they just wanted to be more well-known and recognized as thought leaders. Because a lot of times, a lot of business owners perhaps build their business, but then they forget about showing who they are. And then at some point, they just really desire to have that recognition, just for people to say, you know what, this is what this person did, and this is the impact that this person created. And I think that's where I come in, and I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. You mentioned handpicked entrepreneurs. So, do you are you selective in who you choose to be, or let me rephrase, how selective are you in the entrepreneurs you choose to work with? And if you're not selective, let's say I'm an entrepreneur, I have an idea, or I have this great service that I want to offer, I don't know where to start. What's the first thing you do with a client who comes to you, and they're new to entrepreneurship, and they want you to make sure that their branding is on point and that they have a base to start from? So when they're expanding their brand message across all the different platforms, it all works synergistically. They're not saying one story over here and another story over there. So everything kind of comes together and is in sync with each other.
That's a very good question, Salome. So first, the very first thing that I do is I have a discovery call where I start to kind of like wonder, okay, what is it that you desire to create in this world? And I think I would say 99% of people have no idea what they desire to create, because some of them may have heard, oh, I have a good story, maybe I should put it in a book. And that's the extent of what they desire. And other people who are very successful entrepreneurs, maybe they have built a very successful property business, or business with blockchain, and they're running courses, and they're doing amazing things. And then again, they're maybe 50, 60 years old, and they're thinking, okay, maybe I should write a book because I have an interesting life. Okay, and that's the extent of, I would say 99% of people are in that bracket, where they heard from someone that, oh, maybe it's a good idea for me to publish my book, but they have no idea what it can lead them to. So that's where I kind of dig very deep, and I say, okay, think about if I had a magic wand right now and I could give you anything because you published this book. And this is literally almost like the power that a book can bring you. It can bring you anything, but it's almost like asking, rubbing the genie in the bottle and kind of saying, what is it that you want? And this is where I'm here. Like, you can ask me for anything, but you have to be very clear about what you really want. And most people are just not clear. So the first step is clarity. So how do you get this clarity? Is by really thinking very, very deeply in a very specific way, creating a SMART goal that you really desire. And it can be anything for you, okay? It could be, for example, for me, when I published my first book, I only sold 20 copies for my very first book. And really, I sold it mainly to my friends and family. And I had no idea what it was going to give me. But all I knew was that I wanted to leave a legacy. I wanted to, if I died tomorrow, someone would say, okay, Lily did something. She published a book, and that was the extent of it, because I didn't have a property at the time. I didn't have even a boyfriend. I wasn't married. I didn't have children. Like literally, I had nothing. I felt like I was so behind with, compared to everyone else. And after publishing the book, what happened is that I started getting invited to so many events, for book marketing events and, just marketing events everywhere. And because I was going to these events, I was meeting a lot of highly successful entrepreneurs, and they were all wondering, how come you were able to just like publish a book by yourself? And then they were asking me, okay, so what is this book about and how it can help me? And the reality is I hadn't thought of that. Okay. But even despite the fact that I published, you can say my very first book was the wrong book. It was an autobiography. It was a memoir, right? Despite the fact that I published the wrong book, it still led me to many, many opportunities. The first one was I actually, was invited to hundreds of marketing events. I met hundreds of successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, amazing, passive investors, and so many incredible people. And then I also managed to meet a guy who happened to become my boyfriend. And then he gave me the opportunity to manage his property business and his English school and his career advice part of the business. So for the very first time, I had the opportunity to manage a property business. At the time, I was doing about 400,000 a year. And within a few years, I managed to take it to 642,000 a year, despite the fact that at the time I was actually a nanny, right? So previously I was a nanny. Nobody would give me like this opportunity to manage a business or to even be an administrator somewhere. And because of the book, I was able to be given this incredible opportunity to be trained to be a manager of this, company that was doing property. And I was also for English school and so on. Yeah, were you going to ask me something?
No, I was going to say, you start with the number one, which is being intentional about what you want to do. So once, and you make sure that that is a starting point where the intention is clear.
Yes.
And then that's the jumping off point to what happens next.
Yes, absolutely. So clarity is very important. So it was only later on that it was only like a couple of years ago that I actually realized, wow, what I really desire is to inspire and to impact 100 million people to be happier, to go after what they want, to share their stories, and to create wealth in books that transform the world. Okay. And now it really feels like I'm very much aligned with that. And I never knew what I really wanted to do. But until you really know what you want to do, and actually creating the book can help you with that, because in the process of you writing a book, the book is, a lot of people come to write a book for themselves, but the reality is you have to write the book for other people. But in the process of you writing the book for other people, you crystallize the message and the systems and your knowledge, your expertise, you crystallize it in a system that not only you understand, everyone else does it, right? The best teacher is the one that has the really, condensed, crystallized information for himself, so he can be a really good teacher for others. Excuse me. And that's the thing that enables you to transform yourself in the process. And because you transform yourself, you transform the world as well.
So we're clear about what we want to do. The next step is to be sure that what you're writing is for other people, not just for yourself, because that's how you're going to impact other people or grow the world, is by writing something that they want to read and is going to be of value to them. So once you've move the entrepreneur into that space, now what's the next step? Is it creating a whole program, a whole branding strategy around that? What's the next step?
The next step is to really think, when you're doing the crystallization of what you really want, most people are just thinking about what they want for other people, right? So they're just saying, oh, I want to help people. Okay, but that isn't clear enough. It's not crystallized enough. It has to be a certain number of people you want to impact. It can't just be people. Okay.
Has to be more specific.
It has to be super specific. So it can't just be, I want to help people. Okay, fine. But how many people? 10 million people, 1 million people, 1,000 people, 20 people? You know, it doesn't matter what I want. What you want is important. Whether you just want to work with one person a month, that's fine. That is your goal, because that doesn't make it less important. It doesn't really, because you can make a huge difference to one person every single month, because there are people who are working very closely just with one client a month, or just with 4 people a month. I've met actually someone in my building, and he's charging, I think, £10,000 a month to work just with 4 clients a month. And he's happy with that. And that's perfect, right? So you just have to create your own, you know, like desired reality. And then based on that, think about, it's not just about what you can help people with, but what do you really want to get out for yourself as well? I think most people are too embarrassed to even say it, you know? So some people say, okay, I want to help people, but really deep down, they also have a secret desire. They want to be famous. They want to be thought leaders. They want people to say, wow, this is a book. This is like a mind-blowing, life-changing book. I think that there's you can say the prohibited, you know, the prohibited like desire that people want. People will not admit that to anyone. And then there's the, you know, like the outer desires that, you know, they will admit to, right? So they'll say, oh, I want to change people's lives. I want to, you know, but they will keep to themselves, or they'll be too embarrassed maybe to say, you know what, I really need the money as well to, you know, feed my family, or I really need the money to do this, or I want to, you know, move into a 3-bedroom flat, or into a, you know, a 5-bedroom house next to the sea, or, you know. So I think it's very important to really think about yourself as well. So it's not just about other people. And the next step is to create almost like a marketing plan. So you don't write the book before you actually do the marketing plan. And what I'm saying is, think about, who is this book going to be for? What kind of people? Is it people between 20 and 40? Is it people between 40 and 60, roughly? And once you've determined, like, what kind of cars do they like? What kind of books do they read? Where do they hang out? You know, all of these different elements about that makes them very, very specific. Think about one person, just one person that is the most ideal client for you. Maybe, and that makes it so easy for you to write, because you're not anymore thinking about a person between 20 and 60. You're thinking about Sandra, okay? And Sandra is, I don't know, a 40-year-old, she's 40, she's divorced, and she's had a midlife crisis because maybe her husband cheated on her, you know. And all of a sudden, when you have this super crystal clear idea of who you're talking to, then it's easy for you to write the story or the book, because you're writing to one person, as if you were writing a letter to a friend. And it feels like you really know Sandra, you know, you really know her, like deep down inside, you feel like the pain. You can put yourself into the shoes of Sandra, because you can see Sandra maybe like sitting on the sofa, and she's got a lot of pain because maybe, you know, she's being deceived, or maybe she's running a business, or maybe she has 4 children. And then these 4 children, you know, they're great, but they also are it's very hard work to manage a business and to have children, right? So because you know all those things, and you're thinking, well, how can I help Sandra? Maybe I can help Sandra to systemize her business, maybe like in a way that you're doing with your system of, you know, the navigating the path from startup to success, your book, right? Maybe in that book, maybe you've already mentioned what I'm talking about, which is maybe you've already considered a person like Sandra, and then you've already considered, okay, a mother with 4 children doesn't have that much time, and maybe you've considered some organic strategies for her to market her business, or maybe some strategies where she can, you know, work around, you know, the kids, you know, school and things like that, right? And because you know Sandra so well, it's like when you're writing, it feels like Sandra, when she's reading that book later on, she's going to feel like, this book is for me. This book, this is me that you're talking to. And that's exactly when you get that perfect alignment between the person you're talking to and you as the, you know, messenger. And it just feels like you're vibrating, you know, you're vibrating because you're like so excited, you're sharing with Sandra. And then Sandra feels like this book is for her. It's not for a gazillion people, it's for her, you know. But in the process, of course, it's not going to be just Sandra. There will be other people who have, you know, different ages. They will still feel identified, but because you've thought about the pain, the disasters, the emotional ups and downs of a mother with 4 children, it's so much easier for you to write that, right? The next step is to think about, okay, what kind of colors have I already been using in my business? Okay. Now, there will be two types of people. There will be people who don't have a business, and then that was a bit easier because then you can kind of come up with the colors from scratch. But then there are people who might be into two categories. There are people that maybe they have one business and they have already used certain colors for that business. Okay. And it could make sense if that business is already successful to kind of maintain those kind of colors. And then there's a second category of people who maybe they have multiple businesses and each one has a different color. So then you want to be thinking about, okay, what kind of business do I want to promote in this particular book? So the book is really, ideally, it's a way for you to promote your business and yourself. So you got to think about, okay, which one am I going to promote? So when you have this, discongruency between colors, then, what can you do? You just have to select your favorite, the one that you want to promote. But ideally, most ideal, you would have, the different businesses with, similar colors. So it's kind of like easy for you to have that consistency.
Okay. So I have a picture in my head about what the journey would be for someone who comes in as an entrepreneur and is working with you. Your job is to make sure that that person has clarity about what they want to do. They're intentional. They're being specific about the market they're trying to reach. And then you create a plan around the market they're trying to reach, the goals of the entrepreneur themselves, and the impact that they want to make. How many people do they want to reach? And so now we're at where you're creating a specific plan for them. Does the plan look the same? Let's say you've worked with 5 different entrepreneurs and you've gotten to the point where you're creating a marketing plan around the book that you've written for them. It clearly reflects what they want to do as an entrepreneur. It's directed at the right market. They're clear about their goals. Does the marketing plan look the same for everyone? Or is it different of course, it's different based on their goals and objectives, but in terms of the pieces of the plan, is it the same? And if not, how is it different from client to client?
That's a very good question. So recently, I was working with this client who is doing, a business, okay, but his business is around, teaching women how to have sex without pain. Okay. So
how to what?
How to have sex without pain, right? That's his business. He's a health coach, sexual healing coach.
Okay.
And what happened is that he was going to call his book Dispareunia. Okay. Now you're looking at me. You're listening to me. All of you listening, you're thinking, okay, what is that? Okay, I don't know. I do know now, and what it is, it's having painful sex. Okay, and he was going to call it that. He was going to call his book Dispareunia. Okay, so I looked at that and I thought, okay, let's not call it like that, because 99.9% of people around the world, they will not know to search for that term. Yeah. They will not understand what that term is. And that is not a solution for their problem, even though you can say that what you're providing as a solution could be there in the book, but the title just isn't right. Okay, so we said, okay, let's look at what you could do. Right now, we agreed that removing painful sex is not actually the outcome that women want as the final destination. Mm-hmm. What is the final destination is mind-blowing orgasms. Okay, so we called the book Mind-Blowing Orgasms because this is what people want around the world. Okay, and that's a target of billions of people, and so we called it that. Now, after having changed the title of the book, unfortunately, he had already created a video around it, like a video course and whatever, and he had to just scrap it because he just couldn't use that. After after publishing it, and actually not after publishing it, but in the marketing stage of it, I was telling him that, okay, you have the book, and the people that actually have painful sex, they are a smaller market. Okay, the bigger market is like everyone, they want mind-blowing orgasms, right? So we need to, maybe we'll do this book for this small niche of people that have painful sex, and then we can do a book which is mind-blowing orgasms for everyone, which is for, it's not just about pain, it's about the main topic. And I said, once you do the book, then you can also have, for example, a set of cards, right? A set of cards that couples can use. You can have like a card game, you can have like even a fun board game around this, with the same name. You can have a book around the same topic but for women. You can have another one for men, teaching women, teaching men how to satisfy their and what I'm trying to get to with this is that this is a specific thing just for this particular book. Whereas, for example, let's say you would have a normal business, blockchain or health or property or things like that, you wouldn't have cards and other things, right? Every single thing would be customized and different. So for example, like for the blockchain, there was a book that I published around blockchain, and actually the guy that I published the book for, he had two businesses. Okay, he had a business around blockchain and cryptocurrency and investing in that, and he had another one on health. And I told him, I actually think, even though you actually wrote the book already on cryptocurrency and blockchain, I think you should publish the one on health, and you should call it something around innovative optimum health solutions, or or just optimum health solutions, because this is the outcome that people desire. Okay, and what he wanted to promote was actually the health business, and blockchain was a way for people to use the app that he has connecting doctors with patients, but still the health is the main thing. And right now he is going to write a book about that, but he just published that, he's going to publish that second. So for example, for him, okay, he didn't listen to my advice regarding which one he should do first. But even so, since then, I've managed to refer him hundreds of people. And out of those people, 3 people had a network of 100,000 people targeted for his particular business, which is health, right? And then for him, having cards or maybe having a board game is not relevant. But what could be relevant is, organizing health events, or and selling the health products that he has, and positioning many of the health products in that book, so that let's say he could have a chapter on pain because of migraine, for example, migraine pain, and he could have a chapter there mentioning, okay, there's this product that I have that is targeting this migraine thing, and there's this other herb or whatever he has that is targeting migraine pain. And that way he could have literally like a book full of solutions. And because people are reading about solutions and they are looking for that solution, they are going to buy not only the book, the book is going to be the minimum that they're going to buy, because ultimately the book is going to sell all the other gazillion solutions. So let's say the person would start reading that book of 20 pounds, and then they would end up buying, let's say, 4,000 pounds worth of health products. And that is going to improve their health for like their entire family and make their lives like 1,000 times better and improve the quality of life and so on. So it's like a win-win-win for everyone, right?
That's kind of like an inverted product placement kind of marketing, where you'll watch movies or TV shows and you'll see brands have their products. Computers might be a particular brand. You might see them using a brand of cookware, or the furniture they have is from a particular manufacturer. So him placing his actual products inside the book is to go along with the information in the book is actually pretty genius. So that's really an awesome strategy for someone who has a product-based entrepreneur.
And for example, for your book, maybe you've already done that, right? So let's say if you're talking about startups, and let's say if you were talking about, startup success, maybe you have already mentioned some tools and business softwares that people might want to use and then you could have your affiliate link for those particular products. So maybe you would be recommending, I don't know, Infusionsoft or Aweber, or all the different things that entrepreneurs can use to save time, to save money, to save, have a better flow in their business and systemization. And maybe you can like literally do, and maybe you've already done that, like an entire book full of systemizations that people can use so that they can get an extra 40 hours a week and just work 5 hours a week. I actually have a friend who I advised him a long time ago, like 3 years ago, to take a marketing coach's advice, and he did. And about a year later, he said, you know what, I've actually taken that up. I've taken all the courses, I've studied everything, I've systemized my business so much that now I'm literally only working 5 hours a week, like literally 1 hour a day, where I'm consulting with my, the CEO of my business, and I'm pretty much doing nothing, and and he has, I think, 50 clients paying minimum 2,000 to 5,000 a month. So it's just like a really cool way for you to basically, like, you have this book as a replacement in a way for a brochure. The only difference between a brochure and a book is that nobody throws away a book, whereas a brochure, people might just like look at it for a second and throw it away, whereas a book, they will like either read it, or they will gift it to someone who might need it. And in that book, if you can put all the different like automation tools that you're currently using, let's say if you were a branding expert, right, you could, let's say you have some amazing glasses. I'm not sure if people can see that, but you do have some incredible glasses, right? So you could actually become an affiliate for particular types of glasses, and then you can advertise them in your book. And you can say, to make yourself look cool, you can wear these kind of glasses, or you can wear that kind of glasses, and then you can have different affiliate links for clothes or necklaces, or all the different things that you would be using anyway. You could put those in the book, and that way you can make some extra revenue. And it's also very important to get people an incentive to get them on your database, because the important thing is that people will always read a book and then they will want something from you, whether it's like a template, an automation tool, something. And ideally give them something to incentivize them to go onto your database, so you can continue the conversation with them on your email, through text messages or through WhatsApp, so you can continue the conversation. Because 98% of people will not buy the first time round. They will buy the second, the third, or the fourth, So actually, the first time round, I think it's only 2% of people that will buy. The second time, it's only 3% that they see you. The third time, I think it's 5%. And most people buy after having seen you between 4 and 12 times, which means they have to see you, they have to hear from you, they have to get emails from you on an ongoing basis to actually buy. So having the book is a great way for you to, build that authority, and then you continue that conversation with them on your email.
Now, what you just said is kind of a haha moment and an eye-opening moment at the same time. And I have 2 comments. I have a comment and a question. It is that affiliate, being able to, because when you do affiliate marketing, oftentimes you have to kind of have a relationship with the person on the other end. You send me this amount of clients, you get this percentage. Now, what I'm hearing you say, it's also possible for someone who has a book, writing a book, to be the one to reach out and say, I'm mentioning your resource in my book. Can you give me an affiliate link before the book is even published? So that when people, and also even to go a little further, let's say the book is available on not Audible, what's the electronic book where people can automatically click the hyperlink, and it
Amazon?
Right, on Amazon, where the Barnes and Noble, is it the Kindle? Kindle where you
Yes.
can, where you have the electronic, you can read the book electronically, and you can have the hyperlinks to these affiliates. It takes you directly there. So rather than you having to kind of go online with the published book, it's a direct route to the affiliate. So that's a really a genius, and it's not something I've heard of before. I mean, I've heard of affiliate marketing before, and you have affiliates with products and service providers, but inside of a book, I've actually not heard it. So it's a really great idea to do that when you're starting to write a book. Now, the question is, if you already have a book, and I know in our prior discussions, we said we wanted to have another session dealing completely with just marketing, where we can dive a little deeper into new and innovative approaches to marketing, from your perspective, for people who say might not want to write a book, but they need your help with their branding and their marketing. But in for this conversation, what I want to ask you is, say for someone, maybe you wrote a book for someone in the past, or someone has already written a book and they've come to you and they say, well, here's the book. Um, what, because business is dynamic, it's always changing, as you know. Maybe when the book was written, social media wasn't such a driver of marketing. And maybe this person, there was no affiliate marketing. What can we do? What can you do for people who are in that position, who have already written a book? You've already written a book for them, but things have changed. How do you integrate new concepts for them? Is it to write a part two to their book, a second edition, maybe do like a maybe just an addendum to the book where you create a list of all these resources and affiliates?
I think that's a very good question. So one thing you can do, okay, is that and I tell you, I do think it's quite genius what I've seen other people do, okay, and even I haven't done it, but I have seen it being done, and I do intend to do it, okay. So like a lot of marketers, what they're doing, and especially those that have a large database, but not necessarily even those, what I've seen them do is they do really tiny ebooks. And when I say tiny, I think some of them even have as little as 4,000 words. Now you can write 4,000 words, I would estimate, even in a day, if you like sit down, or if you like, okay, you could pre-record yourself and you can get, you can record yourself and then have a VA or have an app that actually downloads everything. It's not 100% correct, but then you can make some corrections and so on. So you can do that in a day, okay? I don't like the recording part myself because I just prefer to actually write, but I can write 4,000 words in a day. So what you can do is you can actually write a really, really short ebook. You put a cover, you make it look as exciting as possible. And in that book, you can have, your social media links, you can have certain things that people can download, you give them an incentive for them to follow you, whether it's and what I've seen a lot of people do actually, and that's actually not just a strategy for incentivizing people to come on your list, but also a bestseller strategy, okay? And what it is that you create a big package, okay? And what I'm saying by big package, by a package that looks really massive, okay? So something that is worth, I don't know, $3,000 or something, 3,000 pounds. And maybe it's your coaching service, or it's, maybe it's a group coaching service. You have to be super, super creative. Maybe you already have a running group where you do calls once a month, or you do calls once a week or whatever. And you're just like adding an extra, few people to that thing, which doesn't cost you anything extra, but the value is there, because if people were to pay for that, they would have to pay $3,000 or whatever it was, right? So the whole idea is you create this massive package for people. And then, if they do buy that, then you know, if they do buy it, let's say within a certain time frame, then you will be able to, you know, they will be able to get that for free. And then people are like, wow, oh my God, I totally must register for that. So that becomes not only a bestseller strategy, but it also becomes a way for people to actually come on board and download the book and also be on your database. And because they're on your database, then you can follow up with them hundreds of times, as many times as needed, until they actually do register for something, right? So you can have, instead of, let's say, even having you know, a book of 40,000 words, 40 to 60,000 words, which is a normal size book, you can have 10 ebooks of 4,000 words. And that way, what happens is two things happen actually. First, because the book is very short, people read it really quickly. They leave a lot of reviews. Okay. And because they leave a lot of reviews, what happens is that you look really good, because, you know, if you look at your book and it has, you know, 100 reviews, or it has, you know, even more than 100 reviews or 1,000 reviews, people are like, wow, this guy or girl is good. You know, so that enhances your perceived value as a thought leader. And then, you know, journalists start contacting you because, you know, I'm not so focused really on, you know, the Amazon bestseller thing, because I think it's more important, at least so far, it has been more important to me, that the author is perceived as being the thought leader, the authority. It looks really awesome. And that book gets into the hands of important people who could actually transform the life of the person. And also, the author looks so good that, let's say, if an influencer, an authority, you know, a business leader sees that person on stage, starts thinking, I want to work with her, I want to work with him, because he looks really awesome. And that, to me, is more important than Amazon bestseller status, which everyone seems to go for. Having said that, I do understand it's important for people. So now I do offer that as well. But what I'm trying to say is, which is more important? Do you want to you know, spend time with people, persuading them to buy your book for $20 or 20 pounds? Or do you want to spend time talking to people so they can, you know, purchase, you know, give you a multi-million pound contract, right? So my objective always has been to enable the author to look so good, almost like a diamond, like a Rolls Royce, like the, you know, the #1 person in their niche, look really awesome, so that when you know, a thought leader, when, you know, the princess of Oman or the princess of, you know, a royal family of, you know, sees you, they are thinking, you know, I need to work with this person because this person is incredible. And I want that perception of you as the author everywhere, on the cover of your book, on your social media, on on your website, everywhere. You need to be like that, have that consistency when you look really awesome, and because of that, people want to do business with you. Now, I've kind of distracted a bit from the actual question, but to answer your question again, so you can turn, you know, you can write several, at least one short book where you can, you know, include the different links that you may have for people to download stuff. That's one thing you can do. One other thing you can do is, maybe you don't want to write anything extra. That's fine. What you can do is, people will, let's say, read your book, and what you need to do is to start appearing in the media, whether it's on social media or also in the media. And when you do that, more people will start to know you and your name. And because they start to know you and your name, they will find you. So then on social media itself, you can have strategies to get people from your, let's say, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. You can have strategies there to get people onto your list, even though inside the book you didn't put anything. Right? And then I think for the addendum, I wouldn't bother with the addendum. I would bother just, I think it would be more important to either publish a fresh, you know, short book, or to simply, you know, have all the strategies in your social media to do that.
Awesome. I can't tell you, this has been an eye-opening interview. I have not, as an author of a book, I am learning so much. And listening to you speak, there are hundreds of things I would have done differently. But everything's a learning experience. And like you say, once you've written the book, it's it can take you in so many different places and so many directions. It's just having the right type of guidance as to how to get from publishing the book to being making an impact worldwide, whether, as you say, it's as a thought leader, as an expert in your field, as a great speaker, an awesome coach. You know, all of those things come from putting all your what your product or service or whatever it is inside of the book for people to have access to it. So this has been really informational, inspirational. And I just want to recap for maybe people who are going to scroll to the end of the the podcast or video. Lily Petrascu, is an amazing author, publisher, marketer, and you help entrepreneurs coalesce their thoughts, ideas into a book that you publish for them, and that becomes the centerpiece of their branding and marketing. You help them along this path by making sure they are clear and intentional about what they want to do. As long as they have that clarity, that intention, and they are specific about what their goals and objectives are, then you create a specific plan around the central theme of their book. And this could be, as you call it, experiential events. It could be connecting them with other people, worldwide, media opportunities, speaking engagements. The sky seems to be the limit. Did I summarize it correctly? And if I did, do you have anything else you'd like to add for the audience as we wrap our conversation?
Yes. So what's very important is creating, you've summarized it very well. And what's very important aside from that is basically creating this brand that enables you almost like to crystallize everything you're doing into one thing. And that one thing is your phrase, that is the title of your book, it's potentially the title of your workshop, the title of your game or board game, is the title of your website.
Let me stop you right there. Say that again from the beginning, where you say everything is coalesced into this one phrase that becomes.
Yes.
So
very good. So what I was saying was that
again.
the way there's thousands of publishers, there's thousands of ways to publish a book, but this is how I do it. And what I found that it works very well is to create a branding phrase, a title that becomes everything that you are doing. It becomes the title of one thing, which crystallizes all of your ideas, all of the chaos of creative ideas that you have into one thing. And that one thing becomes your everything, because then you can turn it into the title of your book, the title of your workshop, the title of your coaching program, the title of a card game, the title of a board game, the title of previews for a particular workshop. There's so many different things that you can turn it into. And I'll give you an example. My partner, Harry, my life and business partner, Harry, we created for him the term speakers are leaders. Okay, speakers are leaders is the title of the book. And empower yourself for your speaking career or something like that. And empower yourself to build your speaking career or something like that. But basically speakers are leaders is the term, okay? And this is crystallizing basically like the statement of what we're about. It attracts the right tribe of people that are interested in being speakers and being leaders, and in also realizing that speakers must be leaders. And through understanding that, they also understand they have a duty, right? They have a duty to be speakers and to be leaders as well. So basically this term is is a workshop. It's, we have the Speakers are Leaders workshop, we have Speakers are Leaders preview, we have Speakers are Leaders University, which is an online coaching university academy where people can study different courses. And then later on, we're going to do Speakers are Leaders card game, Speakers are Leaders board game. We have Speakers are Leaders events, Speakers are Leaders awards, right? So you have one term that you just add an extra word to, and you turn it into something else. And I think that is a really good way to do it, because as long as you can choose a phrase or a word, ideally, if it's one word, it's good. If it's 2 words, it's good. If it's 3 words, it's good. If it's longer than 3 words, it's a bit harder to do it, because ideally everything should be short. People just don't remember. But if you can manage to create this phrase that is, as short as possible, and you just add another keyword to it, and that becomes another thing that's still part of your big umbrella of stuff that you have, then it's almost like people remember what you're about. People remember, what you're there to give. And then the tribe remembers you as well, right? So that's the key.
That is such a powerful statement, because there is no ambiguity. You don't have to guess about where your branding is going, because you have narrowed everything down to one phrase. And that's your launch pad right there. Now, my last question is, let's say, to use your partner as an example, Speakers are Leaders, and he wants to write another book. So you've already branded him as a speaker and a leader. But let's say he wants to write a book about something else in the same genre, but how do you then fit that into his brand?
Very good question. So I am thinking of doing something around networking and being an influencer, being a thought leader. And that would be like a subcategory of Speakers are Leaders, right? So basically, when you are a speaker and you are a leader, you also at some point want to be seen as an influencer thought leader. And for that, you need networking, right? So you have maybe like the triangle of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then that's a subcategory of Speakers are Leaders. Okay, so we have, for example, this show, I think it's called Influencer Growth Strategies, and that's still part of Speakers are Leaders. And I think that's the key is, okay, you do first the most important book, which is basically like crystallizes the big umbrella business that you have. And under that umbrella, you have all the little subcategories of what you're teaching, So you have, like marketing is part of being a speaker and a leader, because you don't have marketing, don't have anything. Sales is part of that. So we could write like books about marketing, about sales, about branding, about being a thought leader, about authority, about speaking, about being confident, about looking great, about your image, personal power, motivation.
So you want to, as a person who, say, maybe your partner at the beginning knew he's a speaker, speakers are leaders, but he also had other projects or other ideas that fit into that he wanted to explore, but you guys wanted to make sure that you wouldn't have to do a complete overhaul of the branding. You want to make sure that whatever you chose as that one phrase encompassed everything, all the interests and ideas that he has.
So, yes, ideally. I mean, he was a property entrepreneur, So, I mean, it's interesting that he didn't write a property book. But I think even, if he did write a property book, it would still be under, investing. And I think investing, it also comes under being a speaker, and as a leader, you have to invest. Yeah. So ideally, if you can write the most important book of your life first, that's ideal. But if you really cannot,
or it would be that he trains people and teaches people how to invest, which falls under the same category. Mm-hmm. So that is amazing, Lily. It was such a pleasure to have you. Please share with our audience where we can find you, what how they can reach you on social media, how do they connect with you, so that, when they've already watched this video, they say, I want to know how to find Lily Petrascu. I need that woman in my life.
Perfect. So I want to share one last secret for all of you that have watched until the end. This is a special thing for Salome.
Okay, I'm gonna write this down because you're doing I'm guessing it's a surprise and a special surprise. So go ahead.
Yeah. So the secret is recently I have discovered that Amazon is creating book clubs on Amazon. Okay. And there are these book clubs that have, let's say, 10,000 readers, 20,000 readers. There's only 4 of them. And that's a feature that is not yet active in terms of you being able to register to have your own book club. But it's possible for you, for example, to be a book club member, right? So what you can do is you can register and then you can recommend your own book. Woohoo! Which is really awesome, right? You can recommend your own book for the readers to read. So there's, there's 4 book clubs, out of which, I think there's one with 10,000, another 20,000, and so on readers. So you go in, you recommend your own book. Hopefully some people will read it. And then when Amazon rolls this out, then you can create your own book club, and then you can have potentially, millions of readers around the world who are just going to be, you're going to be the founder of the book club, and you recommend your own book first, of course. And then you recommend the other, for publishers and so on that are listening to this, you can recommend the books of the people that you're going to publish. That's a secret. This is a secret that I've discovered recently. And I've also seen in TikTok that they're doing book talk. They have some influencers that are recommending certain books. So I do plan to start some sort of TikTok account promoting, like book clubs, and maybe having my own book club. And I think that's a good way for authors who want to get more traffic to their book to create like a TikTok account specifically, talking about their book and potentially recommending other books that they like. And then, having an affiliate link for those particular books, or having affiliate links for those coaching programs of the people they would be promoting that, let's say if they were to talk about a particular book and so on. So I think that's a secret for those of you listening until the end. And for those of you wanting to connect, please always, if you do connect with me, always mention that you heard me while talking to Salome Chung from the School of...
Prism 4 School of Small Business. Yes.
Yeah. And you can reach me at hello@lily.global. Lily is written Lily, okay, not with double L. So, or you can reach me at www.lily.global. Again, Lily, not the other way. So that's all. Or you can reach me on Facebook, Lily Petrascu, or on LinkedIn, the same name everywhere, or on YouTube, Lily Petrascu. And thank you so much, Salome, for this amazing interview. You're an awesome woman. I do hope people buy your book because you seem like a very interesting lady for people to follow.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Lily, for being here. This was amazing. And I can't wait for our follow-up interview where we're going to dive into all things marketing. And I so look forward to that. Once again, thank you, everyone who has tuned into this broadcast. Please subscribe to the channel so you can hear amazing interviewees like Lily Petrascu. Like the videos, it really does help the channel so that the information she shares can be experienced far and wide. So until see you again for the next broadcast, which is on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern. To my recollection, I'm still on holiday mode. So until I see you again, guys, thank you again for tuning in. And until I see you again, have a great rest of your week and talk to you soon.